Violet Winds, Soarin, A True Friend by Swedish Double. When Violet Winds was about 5 years old, he lived with his grandparents in Gloucester for a few months, since his parents often were busy with their musician work at park or when they traveling around. When he was living there, he met another stallion who's gone by the name Soarin. Soarin was living there with his parents and his family, and Violet Winds was very curious and but also very shy when he was younger. He had not much friends there, but when he met Soarin, they both became easily best friends. And even since when he moved back home to his parents in Manhattan, they still keep in touch with each other. They often write letters to each other and even visit each other. And just shortly after when Violet Winds moved to Ponyville to be the music teacher, he often get visits from Soarin. But even from that time, he was very surprised that Soarin became the second in command in Wonderballs, and even when he became member of the Wonderballs. Violet Winds was often trying to visit Soarin, but he was often so busy with the team and with his upcoming shows and everything, and he was still himself was quite busy when he was the music teacher in Poland. But one day he received a letter from Soarin. He wrote to Violet Winds that he was coming back to Ponyville for a visit, and since then he was looking forward to seeing his old childhood friend again. And he even told Rainbow Dash, Fluttershy, and everyone his friends that Soarin is coming over for a visit. And even Rainbow Dash was quite surprised that he actually knew Soarin personally, and even know him before he was member of the Wonderballs. And she was curious of hearing all stories about his childhood. And Violet Winds told Rainbow Dash a little bit more about Soarin, how they met, how his world as a child, and she was surprised. When Soarin was just about 5 to 10 years old, he was more clumsy rather than he is now, but he was also very brave, because he just stood up for Violet Wind when Violet Wind was bullied a few others payasize in Cloudsdale. From that moment they became good friends. But one day when he came over to Ponyville, Violet was so excited to meet his old friend again. And even Soarin was happy to see him. They hadn't even seen each other for at least about 2 years, since they had been so busy with their works over time. They both were so happy to see each other, so they went immediately to the local cafe to grab something to eat. And they was very surprised enough hearing they told each other stories about what happened over the years and what they have been through, and Soarin told a lot about his past shows and upcoming shows and all his travels around Equestria to Saudi Arabia and everything. And Soarin even told Violet Winds that he had met his special soulmate. And Violet, he was super curious to hear, so he even asked, "Who is it?" And Soarin was a bit blushing and said, "Promise not to tell anyone about this." "Sure, you can trust me." And Soarin looked around, so no other ponies could hear, and leaned over and said, "It's Rainbow Dash." "Are you kidding me?" "No." "So you will like her so much?" "Yep." "Have you even asked her out?" And then Soarin was quiet and said, "No. I have never really got the feelings for her to ask her out yet." But Soren, you have to, if you even want to at least want to know that she likes you back or something. I could try to ask him or for you. Are you sure about that? Violet, I don't know if she would. Hey, at least worth a question. At least a word to try, don't you think? And Soren was, well, he was first quiet, but thought, well, yeah, you can try. And then Soren left the cafe to be with some other friends in town. Violet was looking to find Rainbow Dash. And sure enough, he found her at the park with Scoolaloo. And Violet walked up to her to ask and tell her. Violet Wind asked Rainbow Dash if she would like to go out with Soren. Since Soren was very shy to ask him himself, which Violet told her. And she would actually accept to go out with him. So Violet said that she could meet him at Sugar Cube Corner the next day at 3 p.m. And Rainbow Dash told him that he will be there. And afterwards, Violet Winds went to find Soren. And he found her. And he told him exactly what he told Rainbow Dash. And Soren was now very happy, but at the same time nervous. The next day, Soren was waiting outside Sugar Cube Corner with Violet Winds, but only as support. Violet could see that Soren was very, very excited, but also very much nervous about this. He hasn't been on a date for years. The only time he went out was actually another classmate, but that was when he was in the 3rd grade, and that was years ago. You shouldn't be bored, Soren. Rainbow Dash is a great mare. She's a great friend, and she's amazing. You know that she likes you well. Yeah, I do, said Soren, but I'm not sure if you really like me back in the same way as I like her. Well, you shouldn't worry, but because she's here already. What? Said Soren and looked up. He was so nervous even more now, and even scared. Soren brought with Rainbow Dash to a local restaurant, and they had just a great time. The next day, Violet Wind asked Rainbow Dash, even Soren, how did the day went. Soren was first quiet. He didn't know exactly how to respond back. But then, well, it went a little bit quiet and odd at the beginning, but later on it went amazing. I even asked her out again, and she said yes, and we're going out today. Wow, so fast, and you're not even nervous anymore? No, I didn't know exactly why I should be so nervous about. She's just a great friend. Like I said, she's a great mare. And perhaps I even want to ask her out and more. And even perhaps, I don't know, if she would like to be my girlfriend. And Violet was surprised that Soren was going to ask her that question so soon. Well, if you really love her so much, then go for it. And Soren said thanks, and then he left. The next couple of days afterwards, Violet Wind saw that Soren was with Rainbow Dash, either just competing with each other, or they went to this restaurant or cafe, or just spend some time. Violet Wind was actually very much happy that Rainbow Dash was dating Soren, because he hasn't seen Soren so happy since they first time they met. But then, A few days later afterwards, Soarin was sitting in the park, crying. Violet Winds was sitting nearby and heard him. He asked him, "What is wrong?" And Soarin was quiet at first. He didn't know how to say it, but Rainbow Dumpling. What? Why? Because I always always talking about Spitfire, how great she is as a leader, and how great she's a friend, and how leader is all kinds of things of that. And even talked about a little bit more about the other team members, like Life is Drag. She said, called me. I was more into her team member practice than focus on her. She said that I even didn't listen to her. And she's right. I was just going on about the team and all about that kind of things. So she dumped me for it. And Violet Winds was beyond shocked. How much can you even try to repair that? Nothing, said Soarin back. And before Violet could even say anything else, Soarin left. Violet wanted to help, but how? He tried to talk to Soarin later that same day, but he didn't want to talk to him. So he tried to went to find Rainbow Dash. But unfortunately, she had left town during the same day. So he couldn't even talk to her. But he tried to find her where she could be. And luckily for them, he was actually at Fluttershy's cottage. She was there talking to Fluttershy about what happened between her and Soarin. Violet tried to talk to Rainbow, but she always said, "No, go, I don't want to talk about Soarin. He's just so occupied on his mind about the team, not to focus on me." But Rainbow Dash, are you not willing to give him at least another chance? You know that he has been so much in love with you for 40 years. You see, he hasn't been so much on a date before. And he's still clueless on how about them doing on a date. He knows exactly how not to do. If you give him just another chance. I know that he might sounds like always focus on just one thing, but give him the opportunity to at least for another second chance. Fluttershy tried to talk to Rainbow Dash about the same thing. And they tried to convince her at least give him a second chance. If it doesn't work the next time, then perhaps it doesn't meant for it to be together. Fine, I will give him a second chance, but only one more chance. So no more talking about this afterwards if it fails the second time. Alright then, said Violet and left. He actually went to find Soarin. He was later found at the park. Violet told Soarin about this second chance from Rainbow, and Soarin didn't believe it at first, but he convinced him it was true. Rainbow Dash was willing to give him a second chance only if he could start to focus on her rather than other things. And he promised. And just a couple of days later, he was actually on another date with Rainbow Dash. And the next day, Violet found Rainbow Dash and asked her how the date went. And surprised enough, the date went actually quite well. Soarin didn't talk about much about the team itself, only that they talked about the boat. Actually, she was the one who brought up the news about this upcoming show in may had in a couple of days, in a couple of weeks. So they talked about that, but after they had stopped talking about it, Soarin brought up another question, perhaps about if she would like maybe go out with him when they are in Manhattan. And he told her that he has seen this is going to be a new great a comedy play in Manhattan just at the same time when they're there. So he asked her if she like maybe go out to see this comedy show. And since she loves comedy, so she said yes. And just afterwards, when this show was over and this comedy show was over, Violet was very curious to hear from Soarin how did this date went. And surprise enough for him, Soarin told Violet Winds that the date went just perfectly. And it was just perfectly just fine for both of them. So they had so much fun they even had totally forgot about their fight. And Soarin even asked for forgiveness to Violet how he reacted to him. And in what he tried, at least what he did for him, was actually a true friend. Especially when he asked Rainbow Dash the first time to telling her how she feels for him, and that he went to find Rainbow Dash to give him a second chance, which she give her at least she actually give him. But also to find that they were great together. Just several months later, they were actually still dating, but now they were more deeply in love with each other. And all Violet Winds, he was actually happy to help an old true friend. And even Soren had thanked him over and over that he has managed to save him from being alone and even give him a second chance with Rainbow. And that's how Soren and Violet Winds became a true good friends from the start when he saved this opportunity for Soren to be with Rainbow Dash and find his true love and also a true friendship with an old friend. The end.